when Eric Hammond of the then said that the miners were lions led by donkeys. And the late and great Ron Todd, General Secretary of my union, which I joined on Christmas Eve 1973 and remain a member of today, the Transport and General Workers Union, as was. Ron Todd followed them to the rostrum. And referring to Hammond, he said Eric Hammond said the miners were lions led by donkeys. Well, I'll tell you this, he said, I'd rather... What a transformation it's been. It's almost unbelievable. You've got to pinch yourself to believe that it's real. Ken and I were in the Labour Party under Howard Wilson, James Callaghan, Michael Corbyn, Neil Devitt, the late and great John Smith, tragically, briefly, you were still in that under Gordon Brown, but I'd been kicked out by then. I was kicked out by Tony Blair in a kangaroo court in 2003 on the charge of having too robustly, and I happen to believe too accurately, opposing what is now universally acknowledged as the disastrous invasion and occupation of Iraq. I knew that everything we in the anti-war movement were saying would turn out to be right. And everything our opponents from Tony Blair downwards were saying was wrong, except when it was a deliberate lie. We knew that then, before we knew what we know now. Before we knew there were no weapons of mass destruction. There was just a weapon of mass deception, and his name was Tony Blair. We knew that following the imbecile George W. Bush over the cliff could not possibly be the right thing to do. And so it turned out. Maybe in Q&A I'll develop my critique of the Iraq War. But I went to the tribunal thinking, like anyone who's ever been in front of a tribunal, if I've got one person, one of the three, maybe I can persuade the other. I gathered my character witnesses. The Right Honourable Michael Foot, former leader of the Labour Party and, like me, formerly expelled from the Labour Party. The Right Honourable Tony Benn, the best Prime Minister we never had. In fact, the last time I spoke here in St George's Hall was a supporting act for Mr. Benn when he was running, no, not the last time, the first time. The last time was in the run-up to the war. Mr. Benn was my character witness at the tribunal. Mr. Foote and Mr. Benn, and my then General Secretary of my trade union. And when I got in, I knew one guy on the tribunal. How did I know him? He and I were in the same ambulance, kicked by the same police horse on the picket line at Wapping. He was a printers' union leader. I thought, I've knocked it off here. Every Saturday night, I used to stand beside him at Wapping, being charged by mounted police officers. I thought I've only got one to persuade. It was a unanimous decision. Which is how I know that the decision had already been made. It was like a stab in the heart for me, because I had joined the Labour Party at the age of 13. At that stage in my life, I always looked older than I was. Thankfully, that's gone into reverse. Don't tell her where she thinks I'm 45. I joined the Labour Party at the age of 13. I lived my whole life in it. I held every office it's possible to hold. I was the youngest ever chairman of the entire Labour Party in Scotland at the age of 26. In those days, I was the youngest ever everything, the youngest ever constituency secretary, the youngest ever Labour Party full-time official, the youngest ever member of the constituency section of the Scottish executive of the Labour Party, and the youngest ever chairman. I loved it. I loved its vocabulary. Mr. Chairman, I'm prepared to move. And all the arcade culture of the working class movement, which is what I was born into and grew up in. I was born in a slum, in an attic with a sloping roof, which sloped so sharply there was no room for a cot. I slept in a drawer as a baby. And at the age of 4, our slum was knocked down. And we got a brand new council house thanks to Labour. There was a health centre at the end of the road. They gave me free orange juice, free cod liver oil, free malt to build me up when I stopped eating that. I had a brand new primary school, thanks to Labour. My father had a job in a factory at the top of the road, thanks to Labour. Everything that we had, everything that you had, was thanks to Labour at a national and a local level. Labour transformed the lives of working people in this country. Trade union strength in the workplace, political strength in the town hall and in Parliament. And so whatever disagreements I had, and I had them with Wilson, whom I knew, Callaghan, whom I knew, Foote, whom I knew well, John Smith, whom I loved. I've skipped Kinnock. Although I should confess, Neil Kinnock once loved me enough that he asked me to stay in his house in Ealing whilst I was house hunting in London. That was when he was in favour of the abolition of the House of Lords, withdrawal from the European Union, before he joined both of them, and his missus, and his children, the grotesque chaos of the cynics running around Brussels, picking up wages, pensions, expenses, and taxes. Whatever differences I had with these Labour leaders, I felt that I was part of them and they were part of me. That we were part of a movement that had a left and had a right, each of which had a right to exist, both of which had to coexist, and in honest battle of ideas between the left and the right could take place. But by election time, every one of us would put our shoulder to the wheel to elect Labour MPs and elect the leader of the Labour Party as the Prime Minister. It's not rocket science, really. I was a Labour Party organiser sent all over this country to organise in by-elections, and some of the rascals I helped get elected to Parliament, I shudder now to think of it. But I did it because they were Labour, and it was my duty to do so. Look what we've got now. I'm going to say something to you. There is, I think, the indictment of all indictments. If it wasn't for Chuka Omona, Angela Eagle, Maria Eagle, Louise Elman, Joan Ryan, and all these other Blairites, Jeremy Corbyn would be the Prime Minister of Britain right now. Corbyn was 20 points behind the Tories when last year's general election campaign began. 20 points behind. Labour in 2015 scored 29% of the vote. And despite 3 years of backstabbing, front-stabbing, side-stabbing, slander, smear, subversion, undermining, Corbyn scored the largest increase in the Labour vote since Clement Attlee in the landslide victory of 1945. So just imagine if these gangsters sitting behind them had put their shoulder to the wheel from 2015 to last year, Corbyn would have won. A stunning victory. The Tories would be out. The DWP and their murderous policy of killing poor and disabled people would be transformed. Britain would not be about to join yet another war in the Middle East, probably by next weekend, in a new US-UK aggression against Syria. Corbyn would be already beginning to take back into public ownership vital national public industries that have been stolen from us, like the water industry, which he pledged yesterday to bring back into public ownership. John McDonnell would be the Chancellor, not Hammond, is that his name, Hammond, whoever it is now. Emily Thornberry would be the Foreign Secretary instead of Boris Johnson, he's gone. Just imagine the working people of Britain would have had Jeremy Corbyn as their Prime Minister. But that was robbed from us by the enemy within. Now, I believe, and I predict, that these people are about to break away. These people are about to form their own party. They've got a radical plan. It's called centrism. The fact that there already is a centrist party, currently standing at 6% in the national opinion polls, and led by somebody, I think, called Sir Vince Cable, doesn't seem to have dissuaded them. They call themselves moderates. It's very last century lingo, that, isn't it? Moderates. Modernisers. Remember all that guff? What's moderate about going around the world, invading other people's countries, setting them on fire? What's moderate about presiding over an economy where our old age pensioners die of hypothermia in the winter because they can't put on a fire? What's moderate about the richest people in the country paying little or no tax? What's moderate about tipping people out of their wheelchairs and their sick beds and forcing them on pain of absolute impoverishment to go and look for work? I think that's extreme, actually. I think going around the world invading other people's countries makes you an extremist, not a moderate. So we could have had all that, but the moderates are going to give us another chance. They're going to give us another chance to put Tony Blair back in power. No. He said on the BBC, with the BBC interviewer sprawled at his feet, polishing his shoes as he spoke, that he didn't think Labour could be taken back. I can't use you, Mr. Blair. Labour will never again be taken back by you and the people like you. Never. You almost destroyed the Labour Party. You almost destroyed the idea of Labour. And what we've got now is not Labour going to some extreme, it's Labour coming back to what it was supposed to be before. And here in Liverpool, both Mr. Ben and Mr. Foote both said, if there's ever going to be a revolution in Britain, it'll start in Liverpool.